So section 4.9 is modeling with polynomial functions. We're mostly going to focus on like writing functions that go through very specific points. So in previous sections, we've written functions that have specific solutions, but these are going to be through 4 specific points. So now we'll have to kind of find an a value that goes along with that function to ensure that it goes through all the points. So for example 1, write the cubic function whose graph is shown. So the thing that we can figure out very quickly is what type of factors that we'll need for this cubic function, and those factors are going to be based on the x-intercepts. So we have an x-intercept at -3, 0, at 1, 0, and at 2, 0. So we know the factors that create those solutions. So if I have an x-intercept or at -3, 0, that means that I have a solution at x equals -3. If I have a solution or an x-intercept at 1, 0, and that means I have a solution at x equals 1. And if I have an x-intercept at 2, 0, I have a solution at x equals 2. So I can work backwards to try to find those factors that create those solutions. So if I add this 3 back over, I end up with x plus 3 equals 0. So the solution that creates that, or the factor that creates that solution of -3, would be x plus 3. And then same thing with x equals 1, I can subtract the 1 over, get x minus 1 equals 0, and then the factor that creates that solution is x minus 1. And then for x equals 2, the factor that creates that, if I subtract the 2 over, I would get x minus 2 equals 0. So my solution, my factor again, is x minus 2. So these are the 3 factors that I need to make sure that I get these 3 points, these 3 x-intercepts. The thing is, we have to make sure that the graph goes through this 4th point, 0, 3. So we can start to create our function. So we'll say f of x equals, and it is going to be like our 3 factors multiplied together. So x plus 3 times x minus 1 times x minus 2. But we have to include an a value that makes sure that we go through this 4th point. So right now, like just these factors multiplied together doesn't ensure that we go through this the 4th point, so we'll include an a and we'll solve for that a. So what we can do is we can take that 4th point, so 0, 3. This happens to be the y-intercept. It doesn't necessarily need to be the y-intercept. It can be any 4th point, and we can substitute them into the function to solve for a. So since f of x and y are interchangeable, we're going to substitute in 0, 3 in for x and y. So 0 will go in for x and 3 will go in for y. So instead of f of x equals, it'll be 3 equals a, because that's what we're trying to find, times x plus 3, and 0 will go in for x, so 0 plus 3 times 0 minus 1 times 0 minus 2. So that 0 goes in for all 3 x's. And then 3 equals a times 3 times -1 times -2. 3 equals 3 times -1 is -3 times -2 is +6. So 6a. And then last thing, I can divide both sides by 6 to get a equals 1/2. So once I get that a equals 1/2, that'll get substituted back into the function where a is, and then we'll be able to move it or put it in standard form after that. So my new function will be f of x equals 1/2 times x plus 3 times x minus 1 times x plus minus 2. So 1/2 times x plus 3 times x minus 1 times x plus 2. And then when we're ready to get it in standard form, you really should just like hold off on multiplying in the 1/2 until the end. It makes it a little bit easier that way. So the first thing that we'll do is we'll multiply the x plus 3 times the x minus 1 together. We'll just FOIL those and just leave the 1/2 out in front. So 1/2 times x is x squared. X times -1 is -x, and 3 times x is 3x, so if you add those together you get 2x. And then 3 times negative 1 is negative 3 times x minus 2. And then same thing, we'll leave that 1/2 out in front. And now we'll multiply the trinomial by the binomial. So x squared plus 2x minus 3 times x minus 2. So x squared times x is x cubed. X squared times negative 2 is negative 2x squared. And then 2x times x is 2x squared also, so those cancel each other out. And then 2x times negative 2 is negative 4x, and negative 3 times x is negative 3x, so together that's negative 7x. And then negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6. We have 1/2 times x cubed times negative 7x plus 6. And then the last thing we need to do is just distribute that 1/2 in. So our final function would be f of x equals 1/2 times x cubed is 1/2 x cubed. 1/2 times negative 7x is negative 7 halves x, and you just leave it as a fraction. And then 1/2 times 6 is 3. So anything times 1/2 is the same thing as dividing by 2. So 1/2 times 6 is positive 3. So our final function is f of x equals 1/2 x cubed minus 7 halves x plus 3. And then the next problem, example 2, says write a cubic function whose graph passes through the point -4, 0, 0, 10, 2, 0, and 5, 0. So we're given 4 points, we're not given a graph this time. So you have to be able to look at those points and determine which ones are the x-intercepts. X-intercepts are any points where the y-coordinate is 0. So the points that we're going to use to figure out our factors are -4, 0, 2, 0, and 5, 0, because those are all the points that have 0 in the y-coordinate, so those are our x-intercepts. So if I have an x-intercept at -4, 0, that means I have a solution at x equals -4. If I have an x-intercept at 2, 0, I have a solution at x equals 2. And then if I have an x-intercept at 5, 0, I have a solution at x equals 5. So we're not worried about this fourth point yet. It is a y-intercept, but again, we really don't care that it's a y-intercept. It just is a coincidence. So we're going to create the factors, or figure out the factors that create these three solutions. So the factor that creates the solution x equals -4, you just have to think backwards. So you would add the 4 over to get x plus 4. That would be my factor that creates that solution, because I would set that factor equal to 0 and then subtract the 4 over. And then x equals 2, subtract the 2 over, get x minus 2. For x equals 5, subtract the 5 over to the x and get x minus 5. So those are my three factors that create those three solutions, or those three x-intercepts. So now I can set up my function f of x equals, and then we're going to have to put an a value in there, but we don't know what it is yet, just to make sure that it goes through this fourth point. If it was just these 3 points, we wouldn't have to worry about the a value at all. So now it's a times my first factor, x plus 4, times x minus 2, times x minus 5. And now I can substitute in my fourth point. Again, doesn't matter that it's x-intercept or y-intercept, just a coincidence. So f of x and y are interchangeable. So the 0 will go in for my x's, and the 10 will go in for my f of x. So instead of f of x equals, it'll be 10 equals a, because we're not sure what that is yet, and then 0 will go in for all my x's, so 0 plus 4 times 0 minus 2 times 0 minus 5. And then from there, 10 equals a times 4 times -2 times -5. And then 10 equals 4 times -2 is -8 times -5 is positive 40, so 40a. And then I can divide both sides by 40. if I reduce this, I end up with a equals 1/4. So this a equals 1/4 goes into our original function where a was, and then from there we just multiply through to get it in standard form. So the new function f of x equals, instead of a, it's 1/4 times all three of my factors, times x plus 4, times x minus 2, times x minus 5. And then from there, leave the 1/4 until the very end to multiply in, so we can begin foiling the first two binomials, or the second and the third, it really doesn't matter. So we'll multiply x plus 4 times x minus 2. So 1/4 times x is x squared. X times negative 2 is negative 2x, and 4 times x is 4x, so together that's positive 2x. And then 4 times negative 2 is negative 8 times x minus 5. And then same thing, we'll leave the 1/4 out in front, and now we'll multiply the trinomial by the binomial. So x squared times x is x cubed. X squared times negative 5 is negative 5x squared. Don't feel like you have to combine steps into one. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times negative 5 is negative 10x. Negative 8 times x is negative 8x. And negative 8 times negative 5 is positive 40. So we're just taking the x squared, multiplying it by both these, 2x multiplying it by both these, negative 8 multiplying it by both of those. And then bring down the 1/4, combine like terms, so x cubed, that's my only x cubed term. Negative 5x squared and 2x squared together, that's negative 3x squared. Negative 10x and negative 8x together is negative 18x, and then plus 40. And then now I can go ahead and I can distribute that 1/4 in. So when I do that, I have f of x equals 1/4 x cubed, and then 1/4 times negative 3x squared, so that becomes negative 3/4 x squared. 1/4 times negative 18, I can cross cancel a little bit, the 4 can become a 2 and the 18 can become a negative 9, or you can reduce after, but either way that reduces to negative 9 halves x. Just 18 over 4, divide them both by 2. And then 1/4 times 40 is like 1/4 divided by 4, so that becomes plus 10.